Afternoon, everyone. Well, today is all about finding joy in the journey. And how perfect is that in the new year as we reach into 2022 and start fresh? So I have Linda Shively today, who's an expert and bestseller, and she's all about joy. So I'm going to just let her come right in. Linda, welcome, and so glad you're here.
I'm so glad to be here, Maureen. Thank you.
Okay, so tell us about, because with joy, it's one of the first things that actually goes for women that lose themselves. And it's often one of the hardest things to get back. And you would know about that. So tell us about your background from Hollywood to bestseller to standing with women, your family, your struggles, and your triumphs.
I'll take you back to the middle of December in 2005. I have to make a tough decision. I have to figure out how to get out of an abusive marriage with my severely handicapped 3-year-old daughter, Jessica. And Jessica is a bright-eyed, happy little girl. She is in preschool. She loves to play with her toys. She loves books. She's so excited about other kids and just exudes joy. And she just brings that to me and brings that to everyone that she meets. She has a twinkle in her eye, that little mischievous, like, I'm going to do what I want to do, even if you don't think I can. And she happens to have a condition called spinal muscular atrophy, which is a progressive neuromuscular disorder, which affects her ability to crawl, walk, swallow, and even breathe. And she has a tube that helps her eat and a tube that helps her breathe. But she has a strength in her index finger to be able to zoom around in a power chair and use her communication device. And she also uses her animated eyebrows to express exactly what she wants. And she doesn't know anything is wrong with her. She doesn't know anything's different. My marriage, on the other hand, it keeps me on high alert. I never know when he's going to explode. I never know if what I'm doing is right. I try to do everything the way he wants it to be done, and that isn't good enough. Nothing seems to work. And I begin to believe the lies, the crazy making, all of the unhelpful things that are being directed at me. And I don't know what to do. I'm struggling. I have this child that needs tremendous care. How can I possibly do this on my own? Where am I going to go? What am I going to do? And I finally figured out a plan. And on a Tuesday, I bring Jessica home from preschool and I put her down for a nap. And I look at her nurse and I say, you pack up all of her medical equipment. I'll pack her clothes and her toys. And as soon as she wakes up, we're going to escape. So after a flurry of activity, Jessica wakes up and we leave. And exactly 2 weeks later, 2 days after Christmas, I hold Jessica in my arms as she takes her last breath and dies. And from that moment on, I struggled to see any kind of future for myself. I struggled for 10 years. Procrastinating, not taking action, and I'm not really sure why. And I finally realized, Maureen, that there was one missing key, one missing secret that I hadn't had in nearly a decade. And without it, life just doesn't seem to work. And that secret resource is true joy. And true joy is not that superficial, I'm just going to plaster on a smile and everything is wonderful. It's that deep, true joy that underlies everything. And when I realized that that was what was missing, I figured out how to get it back, because so many people just have lost it and don't realize it's missing, and just kind of keep going with life and nothing seems to work, but they don't really know why. And bringing that back is the way that you can succeed in your life and succeed in your business and have enjoyment again, no matter what is going on.
So first of all, I knew your story, but I did not realize the timing, that we are just about that time again that you had lost your joy and you lost you. Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you. It's great to be back.
So now, being someone that truly has been on the journey where there was enough in life to completely take away your joy and you never find it again. And now you've devoted your life to supporting others to find their joy. Where do you start? What does that look like?
Well, what I have found, and I've actually named them, I call them my joy-stealing dragons. And these joy-stealing dragons affect each of us in different ways, in different contexts. And I talk about taming them because it's not about slaying the dragons. I know many people say, oh, you got to slay the dragon. No, they're part of us, but figuring out how to work with them instead of against them. And so these joy-stealing dragons, the first one I call second guessing Sally. And second guessing Sally, she wants you to second guess every decision, no matter what it is, whether it's what to wear today, whether it's a big decision, like, do I start this new job? Do I begin my own business? Do I stay in this relationship? Do I leave it? All kinds of decisions. She's just like, maybe you should. Maybe you shouldn't. No matter what, and goes back and forth. And even if you're super confident when you make the decision, somebody's like, well, I don't know, maybe we need to rethink that. Maybe that didn't really work the way you wanted it to. Maybe you need to try it a different way. Or, oh, so-and-so says something and you gotta change your mind. It's exhausting and it doesn't help get anything done. And the second dragon I call No Good Nancy. And No Good Nancy wants you to believe that you were not born good enough. And no matter what you do, she's like, you're not good enough. You can't do that. And when you succeed, she'll say, you could have done it better, no matter what it is. And it deflates how you interact. It deflates everything that you do because there's always that doubt within you that, oh, maybe I really shouldn't try that. I'll just sit back here and be quiet and not really do anything and let somebody else do it because they're better than me. And then there's Perfect Paula. And Perfect Paula wants everything to happen just so before she'll take any action. She wants everything lined up, all the schedules, all the finances, everything to be perfect, have the right people in place, and then she'll get started. Well, how often in life does that actually happen? Yeah, very, very rarely. So she prevents you from doing things or take a really long time to write the email, write the book, write I'm blanking on the word, whatever it is that you need to write. She just keeps you from doing it or keeps you, let's say you have to do a video. Oh no, my hair isn't right. Oh, I need new clothes. Oh, and delays the process. The fourth dragon. Oh, and just in case anybody listening actually has any of these names, please don't take it personally. They're just great alliterations. And for any men listening, yes, the dragons have women's names because, as I said, these are my dragons. I just happen to find them to be pretty universal, and so I'm sharing them. But the fourth dragon is Judging Jenny. And Judging Jenny is complicated because she wants you to judge other people so that you feel better. But then she wants you to judge yourself, and because she thinks everybody's judging you. And quite frankly, nobody cares because they're too busy judging themselves. So this world that we live in right now, with social media being so prevalent and everything being there and believing what's there, people post what they want to post, and it gives you an impression that, oh, well, I'm not having a good day, but everybody else's life is magical. So I don't want to share how miserable I am. Or I'm having a great day, but oh, all these people are suffering and having terrible tragedies in their life. Maybe I shouldn't be so happy. And she gives you more doubt and guessing that, shouldn't be doing what you're doing and judging yourself for feeling the way that you feel. Then there's the fifth dragon. The fifth dragon is overwhelmed Ophelia. What? You could have named it better, O Dragon. Overwhelmed Ophelia wants to keep you guessing and wants you to keep having a tremendously long to-do list and a packed schedule. So no matter what you do, you can say, oh, I'm too busy. I'm too busy. As if that made you special, like a badge of honor, the I'm so busy honor. Because how frequently do we use that as an excuse to not take the actions we want to take, or to get out of doing something that really would be helpful to us? It's like, oh, I'm too busy to do that. And so all of these dragons, if you let them in, will steal your joy. And often you won't even realize it happened. And I should know. I let it happen for 10 years. And I don't want that for you. I don't want that for anybody who's listening.
So going back, because obviously you are someone that continues moving in the journey,
Mm-hmm.
and it's been 10 years and you've really worked on yourself and worked with others
And
to
it's
bring
actually
them
been
forward.
16 years now, almost 16 years since she died.
So that, and I'm sure the pain never goes away.
Mm-mm.
For someone who is it's more immediate,
Mm-hmm.
what would you say to them to slowly move forward, or just even get out of bed?
The first thing is to actually take that step, take an action, any action. And I actually have some principles about how to tame these dragons that I want to share with you. The first one is live a better story. And this applies whether it's you're new on the journey or you're further along on the journey, because we all tell ourselves a story about our lives, whether it's something that happened in childhood, whether it's a breakup, whether it's a job change, and we make meaning around whatever it is, because the story equals meaning. And what you make it mean can change everything. And so looking at the circumstances, because you can never actually change what happened, but you can change how you think about it. Okay. And what the meaning is that you give to it. And with that, then you can shift your perspective and you can begin to have the life that you want. Because if the story is, I'm a victim, or the story is, I'm not worthy, or the story is, I'm a failure, then the universe will continue to give you evidence about that, instead of I'm a survivor, or I'm a success because I tried. And even if it didn't work right the first time, I can do it differently the next time. And just how you tell that story to yourself makes a huge difference. I mean, I just noticed as I'm saying that how your face changed depending on the words that I'm using. And that shift is what's possible. And so being able to tell the story the way you want to tell it. And so I invite you to think about what is the story that you want to shift, and what is it that you want to think about differently, because you have a choice in how you decide what it is that you do. And yeah.
So is there also then the intention of saying I'm going to be joyful also gets to help shift the story and the way that people feel about something?
Yeah, because you can look at everything that went wrong, or you can look at what went right.
Mm.
And I know some people say, oh, that's the optimist, or being too positive or too, but if you're realistic, every situation teaches us something. What is the lesson that you want to learn from it? Is it that you're going to have heartbreak forever? Okay, that may be the lesson you keep. If it's, I'm going to have heartbreak and I had an amazing gift that was given to me, and I had that much time with, like in the case of my daughter, I got to be her mom. That was so cool. She was only here for a short period of time, but I got that gift. And so what is it that you look at in your own life, that how you look at the story? And then another aspect is about how we look at time and tell time what to do. Because often time goes by and people say, oh, time heals all wounds. I respectfully disagree. Time doesn't do anything. It just is there. It's a construct that we've created to describe the phenomenon of, lightness and darkness. But what is time really? And how do you want to spend your time? What do you want to be doing with it? How do you want to direct that time? Because if you actually want to make a change and you put the effort toward that and you direct your time to do that, versus sitting on the couch and having day after day go by and not really being a part of what's happening. And I've had people I don't know, maybe you've had this happen where you let time make a decision for you. Maybe you procrastinated and didn't apply for something, and then you didn't get it because you missed the deadline. Or you think, oh, well, I'll just wait, eventually I'll have a kid, and then time happens, and then maybe your biological clock stops ticking. Or sometimes it's a crisis. You're like, oh, that roof, it's leaking. I should deal with it. And you go along with life, and all of a sudden there's a storm and the roof caves in. Like, oops. So just waiting for time doesn't fix anything. But you get to choose how you want to direct it so you can make the most of it. And then another important piece is choosing the voices. And what I mean by that is we have voices around us all the time. We have all of the people around us and the voices in our heads. And yeah, We all talk to ourselves. And sometimes it's one person, sometimes it's an entire committee in your head. And whatever that is, noticing, are those voices actually yours? Because sometimes they're maybe a parent's voice, maybe a second grade teacher's voice, maybe the bully in school, maybe an ex, and if those voices, if you allow them to stay there, they'll keep saying whatever it is to you. And usually, if we actually said to other people what we say to ourselves, nobody would ever talk to us again. I mean, we can be so mean to ourselves, but we have a choice in that. And you can say, wait a minute, stop it. I don't want to listen to that anymore. Stop telling myself that. Go over there, talk to, just go in the corner and have a conversation amongst yourselves. I don't want to listen to this anymore. And then the people around us, because we may have people in our lives that are super supportive, and that's wonderful. And we may have people that aren't. And they get in our heads and say things, even if they're intending them to be supportive, that kind of are that undercut that really isn't supportive. And just because somebody is close to us, maybe a family member or colleague, doesn't mean that they get to be close to us in our heads. And choosing which voices you want to allow in and which voices you want to keep out is critical in how you show up in the world and what you allow yourself to do. And so I think starting that process is something that everyone has the opportunity to do.
And that's perfect there, because, okay, so we are at a beginning, right? 2022 beginning.
Mhm.
And that if there was just to start, because, right, everything is always about starting and the momentum that gets moved forward with starting. If you were to say then the how, or the first step, or the first getting out of bed, what the next thing someone would do to find their joy in the journey, what would that be?
Well, like you said, the first step is actually getting out of bed. The first step is making that decision that you want to still be alive, that you want to still be here. And it may take some searching if you're really in a dark place, but what is it that does excite you? What is it that maybe joy is too far a stretch? Maybe what brings a smile to your face? Or what allows you to have a little bit of happiness? And noticing that. And maybe it's stepping outside and getting some fresh air. Maybe it's smelling a flower. Maybe it's talking to a friend. Maybe it's looking at silly videos on YouTube. Maybe it's whatever small thing. Maybe it's cooking a healthy meal for yourself. Maybe it's getting some exercise, being in nature. All of these things can bring some joy, bring some happiness. And recognizing that you don't have to get from deep, dark sadness to exuberant joy in an instant. It's possible. But all of our emotions change over time. I mean, just right now, I could ask you, Maureen, it's like, how would you sit if you were feeling depressed? and just go there now. And I'm watching you, and your shoulders are hunched, your head kind of drops, your face drops, your chest kind of caves in. And now, how would you sit if you were joyful and happy? Yeah, your smile, your face lights up, your shoulders come up, you're breathing differently. And that's in an instant.
Mm.
So it is possible to make that shift in an instant. Now, keeping it requires practice and the intention to keep doing it, because our emotions are going to ebb and flow.
As part of the life and the journey, right?
I mean, and just in any moment, it shifts and changes, and that's part of being human. But we get to choose if we want to stay in an emotion or not. And if we want to stay in the happiness, then we do things to keep ourselves there. If we want to stay in the sadness, then we do things to keep ourselves there. And it really is, or it can be, a choice to shift that.
So again, it starts with choice and intention, and again, a constant tapping into what that joy, or what the opposite of being unhappy feels like.
Right.
All right. So, okay, in this new year, what are you working on? How can people get in touch with you? What's on the agenda?
Fantastic question. I am excited about my new program. It's the True Joy Life program, where people get support, get to understand why they're in the place that they are and how to get out of it.
Yeah.
And getting regular support from me, so that everything happens in a moment. And when people come on our support calls, I'm able to give them the nuances to make massive shifts. Just the other day, I was on a call with clients, and somebody had a belief that wasn't serving her, a fear of being out of control. And it was something that she'd had her entire life. And we were able to shift it for her in the moment. And when we were done, she's like, wow, I thought that was going to be painful. I thought that was going to be hard. And it wasn't. And it was something that she was able to release, and now can deal with uncertainty in a way that she wasn't able to before, and is actually looking forward to it and being more confident about it. And so these transformations can happen quickly. And I love being a witness to those transformations.
Thank you for coming on today, everybody. Linda Shively, and she's your expert in find joy in the journey. Happy New Year, my friend, and I'm excited to see what the next year holds for us.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.